The Solidarity event in the game Twilight Struggle is yet another great US event that targets Europe in general and Eastern Europe in particular. Both players will need to learn this card and how to use it well, and we'll take a closer look at that here on Legendary Tactics. Solidarity is a great US event that adds to the pressure that is put on the USSR and Eastern Europe in the late war. The Soviet player will need to be aware of this one and need to prepare for its arrival, and the US will need to know how to time this event to use its effect to the maximum extent. Let's take a look at it. Solidarity is a starred 2-op US late war event card. For this event to occur, John Paul II elected Pope has to be in effect, meaning that event has to have been triggered earlier in the game. If Solidarity occurs, place 3 US influence in Poland. For the USSR, as mentioned earlier, Solidarity only comes into play if the John Paul II elected Pope event has been triggered. Hopefully, you did everything you could at the time to send that card to the space race, and so you can play Solidarity for the ops consequence-free. If it is in effect, then you have a couple of options. The space race might be one of them, provided you haven't advanced too far down the track to where 3 operations points become necessary to send a card there. The other option is to simply use the ops provided by the card to repair the damage and offset the event effect. This assumes that you have overprotected Poland, which is always a great idea in the face of the late war onslaught of US events that affect Poland and the rest of Eastern Europe. In this case, the card simply becomes a dead action round. Solidarity, combined with the influence provided by John Paul II elected Pope, gives the American the influence necessary to control Poland, provided you didn't overprotect it. And another card to watch for, as is always the case in the late war, is East European unrest, which makes it even harder to hold on to Poland. If you sense that the US player might make a push in Europe, you might want to lean towards sending Solidarity to space to prevent the event effect and hamper the Americans' efforts. Hopefully, you still have Warsaw Pact formed in the deck, or even better, in hand, which can reverse the damage done in Poland by this card event, not to mention helping out elsewhere in Eastern Europe. This card, even though it turns up in the early war, is one of the best late war USSR event cards. Don't waste this event by playing it early. For the US, this card is useful and potentially game-changing. Always make sure to play John Paul II elected Pope for the event, thereby seeding the late war deck with this strong American event card. Likely the best use of this card is as a last action round play or as a headline, but look for cards you can use in combination with it. For instance, in the unlikely circumstance that it's still in the deck, the Truman Doctrine event is incredibly useful here. Play Solidarity in your last action round and headline Truman Doctrine to gain instant control of Poland. But it can also benefit from cards like East European Unrest, as mentioned earlier, or Chernobyl. East European Unrest, for example, can potentially give you the edge and help win an ops war to gain control of Poland, which is not only a battleground country, but one that is adjacent to the USSR, granting you an extra victory point at scoring. If it breaks control of Poland, this can additionally make the alignment rolls provided by the Tear Down This Wall event more effective, especially in leaving East Germany more vulnerable. Or you can use it just to put pressure on the USSR. Poland is an important country in the game and the Soviet player never wants to lose it. Drag the Soviets into an ops war there and their influence won't be placed anywhere else where it might be just as or even more effective. It can be a great distraction if you are ahead in other regions and looking to keep the Soviet from playing influence into them. So in summary, for the USSR, if the John Paul II elected Pope card is in effect, this is an event that you will generally send to space, although if you decide to play it to get it out of the deck, the damage caused by the event can generally be repaired by the ops from the card, as long as you over-control Poland in the first place. Obviously, if the John Paul II elected Pope event is not in effect, you can play the ops with impunity, and likely, joy. For the US player, this is a great event, but don't play it without having a broader plan in place. Make sure that you have a good follow-up event if you can to get the most out of Solidarity. This has been our analysis of the Solidarity event card in Twilight Struggle. We hope you got some value out of this, and if you did, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Thanks for watching. This is Legendary Tactics.